Yo, what's going on, YouTube? We back again with another video. So today we're gonna talk about the other cars I was interested in, as well as why I chose this car. Starting off, the first car I was really interested in was a 2005 to 2006 Pontiac GTO. Now, the main reason I didn't get the car is two main reasons. One, I didn't do enough research on it, but the car has a wiring harness that I don't know exactly what it was, but something happens with the wiring harness that causes the car to catch on fire. There's been numerous reports on that. I'm never the one to back out of getting a car due to certain issues that the car has, or may potentially have, or that's a common problem. But fire is definitely one thing I do not want to play with. Imagine driving down the road in the car you just bought, low mileage and all, not having a fire extinguisher, one, and then your car just is gone in a snap of a finger, just like that. So that was kind of like the main thing. Also, my girlfriend, she kind of pointed out something about the car. She was like, it kind of looks bland. And the more and more I looked at it, I could definitely agree. It's definitely a pretty bland looking car, compared to Camaro, Corvette, even the F bodies, Trans Am Camaro from 98 to 02. The reason I wanted to get a GTO was because, one, the LS2 is very underrated. Everything is LS3, LS7 now, LSA, LS9, whatever the case may be. So I'm definitely with that underdog story. Another reason, it's rare. They only made 3 years of the GTO here in America. Of course, it's a Holden, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But it's a rare car. You don't see GTOs, let alone G8s, around anymore. They only made them for 3 years. I definitely wanted the 05 to 06 to have the 6.0. But ultimately, the more and more I looked at the car, it just became bland to me compared to the other cars I was looking at. So I kind of just eliminated that. A great thing about the GTO, it is very, very affordable. You can find a GTO for, less than $10,000. all the way up to probably $25,000 for a low mileage, clean example. Of course, I wanted a 6-speed. Another thing with the GTO, there was none local that was within my spec. I wanted 6-speed 05 to 06. There was a couple 05, 06 for sale near me, which was very surprising, but they were not 6 speeds. And the 6-speed was a non-negotiable for me. I needed a 6-speed, no matter if it was a T56 or a TR6060. Moving on, the second car, or cars, because it's kind of two, that I wanted was 5th gen Camaro SS or ZL1. I really wanted a SS, but let me tell you the exact car that I wanted. I wanted a 2013 Camaro SS or ZL1. The 2013 Camaro has the updated infotainment screen, and it also has the older style rear tail lights. I am not a fan of the 14 and 15 rear tail lights at all. I think it looks more feminine, in my opinion. It is what it is. The front end looks okay. You can definitely tell the front end was giving inspiration to the 6th gen because they kind of look similar. So I definitely will say that. But the 10 to 13 front end was definitely, my favorite as far as the 5th gen. Now the 5th gen, it's a heavy car. You're looking at anywhere from 38 to, 4,200 pounds, depending on the spec you get. Eventually, I would love to track my car, not drag strip. I mean, yeah, of course drag strip, but I'm really talking about go to an actual track and, take some turns, everything like that. So, excuse me, that's definitely one thing that I want to do in the future. So yeah, I definitely want to track my car eventually. And of course, in cars, weight is everything, definitely want to get, lower times, and it'll be a little harder with the 5th gen Camaro. So with the 2013 Camaro, I wanted a 6-speed, of course. The 6-speed was pretty hard to find. I found a few for sale, but they were across the country, which I had no problem traveling. But I would have to get off work, get a plane ticket or drive, whatever the case may be, get a hotel if it's, farther away. There's a lot of things with traveling to go get a car, especially if it's like long distance, like 600, 800 miles, whatever the case may be. But I was willing to do that for the right car. Another thing with the 5th gen, it's in that area to where, as far as production years, to where it's not old, but it's not relatively new. What I mean by that is the interior it's not as good as the 6th gen. Like the quality is decent, but when you hop in a 6th gen, it's night and day. I'll be honest with you. So that's really about it. I really wanted a ZL1 over an SS, so the SS is definitely more affordable, of course. When you get to looking at ZL1s, they're anywhere from, I would say 32,000 all the way up to 42 to 44,000, depending on the spec. I found more SS's for sale compared to ZL1s, especially within that one model year. So moving on, next car was a Corvette. Now my biggest thing with the Corvette was, it's got 2 seats. Yeah, the back seats are unusable, but having that extra space is definitely, it comes in handy when you actually need it. So that's all I'll say on that. Another thing with the Corvette, it has a torque tube. I wanted a 6-speed, and man, it is a big job replacing the clutch on that. Of course, I was willing to do it, whatever the case may be. But, as a daily driver, I think a Camaro is a little bit better than a Corvette. Of course, a Corvette is a great driver car, whatever the case may be. But as my daily, I felt like the Camaro was better, in my opinion. The last and final car, definitely going to be this one's going to kind of throw y'all off, but it was a 996 911. Specifically, Carrera 4 or Carrera 4S. Now, I'm going to just cut straight to the point. When you buy an old German car or older German car, it doesn't matter, man. You're going to have to dump money into it, especially with Porsches, man. You're going to have to rebuild the whole suspension. All the bushings are going to be out. Shocks, struts are going to be blown, whatever the case may be. And it's a Porsche, so it's going to cost some money. Those parts are not cheap. Wanted a 6-speed. I found a couple. They were reasonably priced, and for some reason, I shouldn't say for some reason, but I will say that the 996 prices are getting up there. So if you're definitely in the market for one, I would definitely say buy one now, because those prices will go up, and they are continuing to go up as we speak now. But anyways, I wanted a 6-speed. I found a couple for sale. They're relatively priced well, I should say. I would say the IMS bearing issue, as well as bore scoring, definitely swayed me away from that. Now, just talking on 911s for a little bit, I thought bore scoring was only on the 996 and 997 cars. I watched a video very recently. This was on the 991 Turbo S, and it had a bore scoring. And I'm like, man. And of course, the Cayennes from that generation have bore scoring. So it's just like, damn, does every freaking 911, or excuse me, does every Porsche have bore scoring issues? And like, that's almost like a let's see, 20, 12, 13 year difference. And it's just like, man, they can't fix that issue. But, the 911, I just love 911s. Now, I will say, if I was to get the 996, I would have settled for that car, which I don't really settle on a lot of things, but that was one thing that I was kind of willing to work with. I will say, because the 996 is the most affordable 911 that you can get into, but I am definitely a 996 as well as 992 type of guy, and those are both way out of my price range at the current moment. So that's that as far as the cars that I were kind of interested in. Now, on to the last segment of this video. Why did I get a 6th gen Camaro? First off, Camaros are my favorite car, like ever. I love these cars. I've had 3 since I've started driving. And, I will always have love for the Camaro. I will always have a Camaro. So, why a 6th gen? The interior on the 6th gen is very, very nice. Much nicer than anything that I'm used to. I'm coming from an 01 Silverado, and that interior was just, man, night and day difference. Even from the 5th gen to the 6th gen, like I just said. You got way better infotainment screen. You got Apple CarPlay. You got a digital dash, digital screen, display screen. On the 2SS model, you have a heads-up display, which the 5th gen does have that as well. It's super nice. On the later model Camaros, I believe that's also on the 2SS, you have that mirror screen that's on the rear spoiler. It's just so many nice features in this car. Heated ventilated seats, heated steering wheel. Like, you just cannot beat it. It was within my price range. I was definitely hesitant to get this car because of the LT1. I'm definitely 100% more of an LS3 guy. But it is what it is, But yeah, like, it was within my price range. It was blue. Blue's my favorite color. It was a 6-speed. It was just knocking down all my points to the next car that I wanted, and it was just perfect. I told my girlfriend about this car. I sent it to her. She was like, "Oh yeah, we should go check it out. We should go check it out. We should go check it out." And I'm like, "Nah, like, I don't want the LT1. Like, I want Summit White. But once I saw this thing, it was a wrap. I already knew I was gonna be signing paperwork and driving that thing home that day. I ain't even gonna lie to y'all, but man, it's just like my biggest thing, because like I would definitely say the biggest, or excuse me, the 2 cars that I was really considering was the 5th gen Camaro and the 06, 05 GTO. But man, just the weight of this car, like, my car is 3,600 pounds. The 5th gen Camaro is like 3,900 pounds, bro. That is heavy. And like, this car got more horsepower, more torque. Just like, man, like, it's got active rev matching. I don't use that. I rev match myself, but it's just so many good things about this car. Like, this car is just such a driver's car. It's super comfortable. Visibility is it's great to me. I don't got nothing to complain about the visibility. It ain't as good as my truck, obviously, because that's a truck, but this is a sports car. I'm walking in thinking that I'm gonna have a hard time with the visibility, but all you gotta do is just adjust your side view mirrors and you'll be straight. But yeah, shoot, like, those are the cars that I was considering. That's kind of why I bought this car. And yeah, man, like, and I don't regret it. I don't regret it one bit. So yeah, I want to thank y'all for tuning in, and stay tuned for more videos. I'll see y'all around.